I felt invisible in elementary school. School was a prison, and I was doing my time. So why did I, a professional designer, drop everything to go back into elementary school, back into prison at the age of 67? That's actually the house I grew up in. It's much older than I am. When I was about 8 years old, I began to organize endless clubs with my friends, dozens of clubs. One summer, for instance, we started a Chamber of Horrors club in our 19th century basement, dragging terrified kids on a radio flyer through our deep, dank, dark dungeon, making them put their hands in wet spaghetti in the pitch dark. And they each paid us a dime to be scared out of their wits. Another time we had a yacht club in the pond down the street, and we built all kinds of little boats out of discarded lumber. And then we made a really big raft. We piled onto it and sunk it immediately. We were home in time for dinner. That was all that mattered. And my world was my own until I went back into prison every September. That's me. I was cute. So I remember the freedom from my childhood very powerfully, and I connect with school children in a very profound way. There are 1.1 million kids in New York City's public school system, in which 176 languages are spoken. It's America's giant crazy quilt. And it's the largest, most economically and racially segregated school system in the country. All teachers move dozens of children safely from point A to point B. Capable, small, unique human beings must stand in line, stay in their seats, not talk or even move unless otherwise directed. While this control might be seen as essential for the child's safety and learning, code word testing, it's also totally unnatural. Each of these fragile sentient beings is like a round peg being pounded into a square hole. In the process, that child's development, natural inquisitiveness, imagination, spontaneity is being distorted and disrupted. And with all this control, kids itch to have some freedom of choice in school. With the support of an amazing principal and passionate teachers of color in a segregated high-poverty elementary school in my neighborhood of 33 years, Fort Greene, Brooklyn, I donate my time so children can have some say in their education. All this started when I wanted to understand how to improve the classroom design in order to better complement the teaching and learning. But a classroom of 27 kids, especially one that's culturally diverse, I realized quickly that I would not hear from the quiet kids. I'd only hear from the most vocal and the most popular kids. Kids just shoot up their hands. They don't even know what they're going to say. How could I, right? Didn't you? Okay. So how could I solve this dilemma? I remembered how much I loved the clubs I started. So why not start councils for kids in which they could make the rules? Democratically run, non-elitist councils right in their own classroom during after school. In return for 2 hours, they would experience just enough freedom to fuel their sense of autonomy and bring their new sense of confidence into the classroom. So I asked a 5th grade class, do you want to start a kids' council? Resoundingly, they cheered yes. I didn't even need to explain what that meant. What if you could tell their teachers how to improve your classroom and your learning? They said, yes, yes, yes. It's like they had been waiting for this. Do you want to have an election for officers? Yes. Who can be on this council? Only kids that agree to be cooperative and respectful. That was not only their idea, it was unanimous. Let me tell you about Freddie, a 12-year-old boy in 5th grade whom I met 2 years ago. Since he repeated a grade, he was older than his classmates. A quiet but thoughtful boy, Freddie was just a little bit spacey. And to make matters worse, the kids teased him because he had a high-pitched voice. The day I spoke to the class about starting a kids' council, I saw him on the playground with his mom, and he declared, I'm going to run for co-captain. I'm going to bake cookies. I said, really? Wow. I was simply amazed the following week when Freddie showed me a sheet of paper. Miss DK, I got every single kid to write down they would vote for me. Can you believe it? I mean, Freddie. That was 2 years ago. Freddie won the election, not because he baked great cookies, which he did, but because he had promised each and every kid he would listen to them. They knew he would put them first. Freddie matured rapidly. It was like he'd been pent up and it's blossomed. He became an effective leader in Kids Council and was awarded Most Improved in 5th grade. I've gone on to create more councils in this elementary school, and there are so many stories like Freddie's. This is Tahoon. She made this poster because I said, what did you get out of Kids Council? Just like a month ago, I said, so what did you get out of Kids Council? She said, do you have a big piece of paper? And I put it down there and she wrote this. There's Amira and David and Magali and Tahoon and Dave and Law and Dean, and the list goes on and on. And they are each becoming aware of their potential while helping to improve their classroom. Here's what I learned from the kids. It's an upper elementary school. The children are able to consider the future and to see themselves in it. Not only do kids want to be heard and respected, they want everyone to be heard and respected. They're eager to think in terms of civics and democracy. They want to develop the confidence to have a voice, but they need practice using it. And if we don't encourage their voice, we diminish their potential. They are eager to learn peer-to-peer. And finally, the kids can help redesign not only their classroom, but the whole school. Together, we can start American education revolution in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Let's hear it for Kids Council. Yeah. Oh, yes.
We're getting out of the way.
Okay,
of the
yes,
podium.
right.
We have there's a little stage stuff that has to happen here.
Yes.
So you brought some of the kids from PS20 to TED.
Yes, right. And 9 kids were elected, 3 from each council, to come to TED. It was very competitive. There were a lot of tears. The kids that came were charged with taking copious notes and going back and reporting to their class. And the principal came with the kids. And the principal at the end said, this is what learning can be. She meant TED. Yeah. TED is what learning can be. And so the kids went back to their classroom and reported every class. And now we want to bring them back again to TED because they love TED. And so we brought them back once. It's just been amazing to have the kids
So let's see,
connect.
do we have that queued up? Let's give that a shot. Yep. We should come down so they can see. Let's see. Yeah.